Our team is presenting on PEP 20 titled The Zen of Python, created in 2004 by Tim Peters. It serves to inspire and guide Python coders to write beautiful code, ensuring code readability, which promotes code reusability. Beautiful code is achieved through a combination of explicit, simple, sparse, and flat attributes to help ensure a high level of readability. On the other hand, ugly code is hard to read, thus hindering the potential for code reuse. Explicit, an attribute of beautiful code, offers a thorough, detailed illustration or explanation of what your program is doing, therefore making it more readable and easier to understand. Simple, another attribute of beautiful code, provides clarity through uncluttered, straightforward code, which is easier to understand than complex code, and therefore helps it be more readable. Complex is prettier than complicated code, but it's still not as desirable as simple. Some situations, however, may call for a complex solution, for example, to maintain sparseness if a simple approach cannot be found. Flat is better than nested, depends on the situation. So if the occasion we're opting for flat means better readability and more efficiency in time in our memory, then this Zen point encourages you to opt for flat over nested. Sparse, the last attribute of beautiful code covered in PEP 20, encourages using less lines of code, since less, for example, less clutter, can help to achieve more readability. Writing beautiful code by using a combination of the attributes I mentioned helps to ensure readable and maintainable code. As Guido van Rossum, creator of Python, put it, if code is not readable, it cannot be reusable.
Zen point 8 is special cases aren't special enough to break the rules. As we can see here, rejected PEP 315 tried to propose a special case for do-while loops, when there's already a perfectly good conventional way using an if break. Zen point 9 goes on, although practicality beats purity, which is nicely underlined by PEP 8's a foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. Zen point 10 and 11 say errors should never pass silently unless explicitly silenced. As we can see here, Python has exceptionally easy ways of handling errors and fixing them on the fly. Zen point 12 says in the face of ambiguity, refuse the temptation to guess, meaning you should look up how to do it. Zen point 13 is there should be one and preferably only one obvious way to do it. As we can see here, there's two ways to iterate over on a list, but one is obviously better.
Dutch refers to the creator of Python, Guido van Rossum, but there may also be other references. May not be obvious at first means that you can always find a way to do something, but the first thing you think of probably won't be the most efficient. When presented with a problem, don't spend too much time figuring out the perfect way to solve it. Code something that works, then refactor that code. For example, write a test, write code that passes that test, and then improve that code. Although, you have to be careful. It is important to give some thought into the problem before you start to solve it. Making sure that the code you're writing is actually working is important. Test-driven development is always a good thing. Most likely, if it's hard to explain, it's too complex or complicated and therefore hard to read and understand. If you finally figure out and understand the implementation, the likelihood you'll remember in the future is low. If you have an implementation that is easy to explain, it may be a good idea. However, just because it's easy to explain doesn't mean it's the best solution, so make sure it is the best solution before you go and implement it as your permanent solution. The last endpoint encourages us to optimize the use of namespaces in our Python code. Namespaces are typically employed for the purpose of grouping symbols and identifiers around a particular functionality, helping to create a higher level of organization while promoting readability and the potential for reusability.